So, by now, hopefully you know who I am. I'm sure you probably know where we are. You know what we're doing. And if you don't, you have some catching up to do. But in the meantime, for those who do know where we are and what we're doing, we got some catching up to do as well. So, we are in the garage. As always, it's nearly 10 o'clock at night. I've been out here a few hours, and there's a few things to show you. First up under the bonnet is brake fluid reservoirs. They're actually loose. Wired in, level sensors. Made a slight error on that because I wired the sensors in series, need to be in parallel. Something I found out after I put all the lovely heat shrink and connector on. Redid that actually quite quickly, so that was good. That's all done. A brake pipe I was making up to go from the bulkhead down to the firewall. Unfortunately, because it was an AN4 connector on the bulkhead, the copper pipe I wanted to use, it wasn't wide enough, and I wasn't willing to risk it, so just ended up getting another Held brake pipe fitted. Made. 30 quid. I can't argue, and it's peace of mind. I'm not going to fuck about with the front brakes. I do not want to lose them on a track, on the road, wherever. So that's a few bits of thing. However, I suffer from a condition. It's premature. It's premature fitment of parts. You can see the wiper motor there. The wiper motor under the bonnet, that's actually because I need to sort the wiring. That actually had a purpose. That was a reason that was on there. However, inside the vehicle, there is something that doesn't need to be there, but I wanted it there. It was the carpet. Now, track cars, race cars, they won't really have a carpet. All they'll have is a bit of grip tape down in front of the pedals for putting your heels on, and that's about all you really need. It's noisy, yeah. I didn't want that really. I've had the carpet tucked away for a while to keep it in good nick, and I've also got the padded underlay as well to go under it. That possibly, I don't know. We'll see. It does, however, need some trimming because you've got the rear mount there for the seat rails and the front mount there. So front mount about here. Some of this is going to need to come off, which isn't a bad thing because it's all puckered. The holes here were for the original mounts. So now that they're gone, I can chop probably up to about here, maybe around here, just so it fits under the seats or around the seats, just something nice. Because I've put so much effort into this, I want it to be a nice place to actually drive. I don't want it to be harsh, clattering. It probably will be, but I want to enjoy it. So yeah, the handbrake really needs cleaning up. That's something that is on the list at some point, but it's currently on so the car doesn't roll away. So for a little while now, I have, shall we say, delaying the fuel hose. It gave me real issues trying to get one end connector on when I first started. It put me off. It was a pain in the arse. Then switched to a different brand. Whether that made a difference or not, I have no idea. I can't say. It was just mentally, it helped do it. So one went on easy enough, then measured, then delayed myself a little bit in doing the second one, but it's all done now. Also all mounted 95%. So let's have a look. So starting back here at the fuel filter, got a nice connector on there. That's the extent. That's an AN8 to AN6 adapter because I needed that smidgen hair of gap at the end, which I wasn't getting without it. So it's a little bit more money, but it's a simple solution to an awkward pain in the arse problem. Then we go off and we start the journey under the car. Flick to camera 2. Then we come along under the chassis rail. The hand there, all mounted quite nicely. Come up, turn the torch the right way. Up the back of the engine, up the alternator. If you take it from another angle, up there onto the rail quite nicely. Something else I've been getting on with as well, because ideally I needed to get the gear stick cable in before putting the manifold on. It's just easier access. It's just as simple as that. So on top of the gearbox we got the shift tower. On the shift tower we got two cables on two different pivots. It works ish. From there they go underneath. One cool thing I've managed is I got hold of a set of Corsa C gear cables, because this was originally a shaft gear change, so completely different. Actually managed to cut the old cables off and just reuse that boot, so it's sealed perfectly where the original cables come through. Bonus. Inside the car, again, comes through from the bulkhead up to gear stick. Now this is an original tower from a Corsa. It was a different gearbox. No, I can't. I don't. It was a while ago I bought it, so adapted to a lift off collar though. Oh no, cut the original collar off because I wanted a white knob. But yeah, so bolt in, screw in, and then underneath I've actually added an adapter onto the end for the back and forward. Actually shortens the throw of the gear change, so basically a short shifter for about 15 quid. Winner. Side to side, had to hack a bit outside of the box, but all in all it's not gone too bad. There's only two issues I found with it at the minute. The front back, I need an extender in there. I had a feeling it was going to be the case because when I ordered the cables they could only be so long. What I needed was the mounting points in the right position. The length of the cables I could then add on. I knew this going into it, so it was not a surprise. Despite that, first, third, fifth, all go in really nicely. Reverse is a bit harder. I don't know why that is, but I think I need to tighten everything up in place, give it a try, get it bolted into the car so that it makes it more secure. I'm trying a bit mid-air and by hand, and it isn't working. The base is the base of it's there. The cables are in place. The idea is there. It's working. It just needs fine tuning now. So 70% there on the gear cables. I'm really freaking happy because that's a hurdle that I battled for months. Tried multiple different ones from different models with the F17 gearbox, and it just wasn't working. It was pissing me off because the Corsa originally, they all came with, it was a shaft that went through onto basically some levers. Very common, cheap, simple, easy to repair. That's why they used it. Why am I changing to cables? I'm an arsehole. I've overcomplicated it for myself again. It may be nicer, it may not. I can't really tell at the minute. Also, with how wanting to raise the tower, potentially, it meant that I could. So it was, again, while I'm doing all this work, while I'm there, while everything's stripped down, get it all done in one hit. It means it takes longer. However, the cables are sitting on for a while. So anyway, enough rabbiting. Next. So with all the carpet in, obviously the pedal box needs bolting down. So easy solution to that. I don't know if you can actually see now. Get a friggin' knife, start cutting some holes in the floor where the mounts are. There was some padding below, only at the back here though. Up the front there was no padding. That was a separate part from the carpet. So removed a bit of the padding there. That then, well, it is going to sit down absolutely fine. Carpet's going to be coming out again, so that we'll be able to bolt that down, not an issue. With the transmission tower in and the pedal box in, one of the things for the pedal box was a bias adjuster to adjust the bias to the front and the rear brakes. So what I'm potentially thinking is raising this tower up slightly on spacers up to about there roughly. So what I could do is nicely create a bracket at the back of it and have the bias adapter there. Run the cable under the carpet, come up on the side of that, tuck back in, and hopefully that's actually going to work, which would be a lovely little workaround on that. Exhaust manifold, all wrapped in Funk Motorsport titanium wrap, all the way down under there-ish. So yeah, that's all done. Manifold mounted back on. Really happy with that. Now means also that the radiator can go back in. Okay, so I started having a little play with the wide lower arms already. Let's have a look. So having a quick play around with the lower arms. This is probably actually slightly further out than the standard ball joint on the lower arm. So you can see fair way tucked in there. So with the new lower arms, it's roughly going to be coming out, I'm going to say there, because that's the limit of the ball joint top mount. That wasn't even as wide as I've made the lower arms possibly, the potential to adjust them out to, and I've hit the limit of the ball joint top mount. So at least we know what the limiting factor is in the suspension here. So I need a little modification to the lower arms and put them on, work out the length of the centre shaft because I need new drive shafts. Kind of. I've got new drive shafts, brand new brand new standard drive shafts, but I need to cut them in the middle, strip the ends, work out how much longer I need the centre section, and then get new centre section made for both sides. Another little task that I'd like to add to myself, but from that to that might be a bit too much camber. We're going to have to see, but that's something else to worry about later. I feel like we are really getting there, especially now the fuel hose is in. It's almost ready. Get the cooling system together, get a few little bits here and there, and it's literally ready for a fire up, which I am bricking it. I've cranked it, I'm yet to fire it. So new ECU, new manifold, pedal box, throttle, converted cable, and a little bit needs to adjust on that. Slow down the talking, I'm yawning. It's not actually that late. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking through all the videos to this point and this video to this point. It's possibly been a larger one, I don't know, we'll find out when I edit it. I'll try and keep it short and sweet, but you've already watched the video. Stupid Bradley. Yeah, anyway, thank you as always, and I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight. If not, I've continued editing and I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Anyway, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, appreciate them all. Haven't had that many comments still, but the likes are there and the views are there, so appreciate those as well. Anyway, take care and I shall catch you soon.